Hi, I'm Kymberley Carter-Paige and I'm a coach and clinical hypnotherapist. I teach people how to take back their minds from the programs that have been installed in them. I hope that you can stay with me for the next 15 minutes where I can offer you some tools for a calmer life.
Kymberley, I wanted to do something really positive in the midst of this New Zealand where there is still a lot of anxiety, there's still a lot of pain from what's happened in the last five years, and certainly a lot of confusion about where to here for New Zealanders. I feel as if a lot of Kiwis are in quite a held state. What are you seeing as a clinician?
Well, I'm seeing people in overwhelm, which is your freeze state. So we all understand the subconscious mind. When there's fear involved, you get fight, flight, or freeze. And the freeze state is the overwhelm where everything is just too hard. So people turn out to be on automatic pilot. So basically they do what they know how to do, going to work, cooking your dinner, looking after the children, but there's no emotion there. There's no life there. It's more a case of existing and not living.
That's what it feels like. People are in survival mode.
Yes.
And kind of like a collective holding of the breath. So I wanted to do this series of 15 minutes at a time of advice to help people just unwind and find a place of calm no matter what is going on out there. Just tell us briefly what your work does, how it works, and how it can help someone unwind from stress.
It's about giving people back the power, because when you're in a fear state, especially with the pandemic, people feel they have no control. And now also, even in the aftermath of the pandemic, they've got no money. You know, their jobs might not be where they wanted them to be. They're in, as you say, survival mode. So we need to help teach them that they can live again instead of just existing, giving the tools that let people suddenly remember that joy, you know, connect with the family, even the ones that aren't awake. There are still ways that we can rebuild those relationships.
And before we talk about some of those specific tools for today, just talk about the role of social media, because I'm studying it a lot, I'm researching a lot, I need it for doing this work. But I'm well aware that it can increase anxiety, not help to make people calmer. What do you think about the amount of time people are having on social media at the moment?
Absolutely. They need to reduce their social media and also be quite strict on what they're watching, because you can go down the rabbit hole of doom, gloom, again, disempowering yourself, or you can sit in the evening and watch a TikTok video of a dog's doing really stupid things and laugh yourself, you know, till you can't breathe. And that, again, changes your vibration to one of joy, and you go to bed with that feeling. And if you can wake up with that feeling as well, then that's going to help you get through all that instead of just scrolling, the doom scrolling all the time. And yes, we need to look at that stuff because, you know, we need to take back control. But at the end of the day, we've still got to live, and we've got to bring back our lives from the trauma that was instilled within us.
I want to talk about that in a future series, the future one of this series, the trauma that was instilled. That's a very important phrase. But just that doom scrolling, what do you mean by doom scrolling? A lot of people talk about that.
Basically, it's just looking at all the negative stuff, you know, and it's the brain, the subconscious mind is there to keep you alive, and it's looking for the negativity because it needs to protect you. So it's looking around you for all the things that are dangerous. And what happens with the social media is when we're scrolling and we're in that subconscious frame because we're not really seeing what's around us, we're in our heads, we're looking for the doom and gloom. And what happens, that builds inside us. And again, the subconscious mind suddenly feels it needs to protect us even more. So that can create those trigger feelings, those panic feelings, those where you can't breathe. And everything then seems a lot worse than it actually is, because you're seeing something that's not outside your window, but it's petrifying. And when you actually look at it from a sense of, actually, right here, right now, in this very moment, I'm actually really safe, then it changes everything.
Wow. I want to come back to that for the end of this 15-minute segment, but I just want to think about that for a moment with you. So this is one of the reasons I left news. It was just a diet of the worst stories from around the world when I was in mainstream media. That has become so much worse now. But it sort of has a magnetic pull. So you're saying that's what our brains are attuned to. But if somebody goes to bed after, say, doom scrolling for 2 hours, 3 hours, they're not going to have a deep, calming, refreshing sleep, are they?
No, and it's actually going to hype up the subconscious mind to be listening out for every movement because they've put themselves in a dangerous situation. The subconscious believes that the world they're living in right now is really dangerous. So they're going to hear every creak of every floorboard, every bit of wind, every bit of rain, because the subconscious is on hyper alert, so they're not going to sleep well.
And that's back to what you said, fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that beautiful tool you just offered there.
Yeah.
Look out the window. What are you advocating there, Kim?
So put down your social media for this time. Either go out for a walk and actually look around you. And when you look at it in the true sense of right here, right now, all that stuff isn't true. It could just be a movie that you've been watching. Who knows what is true and what isn't true when you look at AI, what they can create. You just focus on what's happening right here, right now, in this very moment. And if you say to your subconscious mind when you're out and you're listening to the birds, looking at the beautiful scenery, right here, right now, in this very moment, I'm perfectly safe, perfectly fine. Your subconscious will calm right down. It's as easy as that.
That is absolutely stunning. I want a little message added on to this piece about parents. What does it do for small children when their mums and dads are on these phones all the time, or on the devices, or on the computer all the time, looking at the screens? What do you think that does for a small child to see that?
Well, the child just believes they're not important. They're just around, don't they? And, you're not interacting with the child or teaching the child anything. And from birth to 7 is when our programs are created, because the subconscious mind is in a hypnotizable state. It has to be, because from birth to 7 we have so much to learn, from understanding facial expressions, learning the language, how we move our body, what's dangerous, what isn't. There's so much information from a child from birth to 7 that the nature and God has made their brainwaves a naturally hypnotic state. And those programs become their permanent lens through which they see the world for the rest of their lives. So if they've got parents that are constantly scrolling, it's just like if both parents are smoking, it's going to be automatic for them to think, well, this is normal. And so we're not teaching them how to enjoy life. If you flip it the other way, if you've got children, if you look at life through their lens and how they're looking at this leaf, isn't this amazing? Look at the colour of it. Let's throw these up in the air. Suddenly your programs will change and you'll see the joy in life. Let's learn from our children.
I was looking after my grandchild the other day and just telling her made up stories and seeing the sparkle in her eyes when I was just fully interacting with her. Nothing else mattered in either of our worlds. It was one of the happiest mornings I've had for months.
Yes.
It's just that beautiful idea. That too brings us back into the idea of be here now.
Yes.
All right, Kim. So just finally, to sum up in this small piece, take a breath and then go where? For your advice, what is it? You're saying to people, take a breath, look around.
Look around and say, right here, right now, in this very moment, I'm perfectly safe, perfectly fine. And just see, you are. Let the subconscious mind know that all that stuff is just a movie, and right now you can switch it off.
Stunning. I'd like to talk about the subconscious mind in our next piece. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.